What's up, everybody? It's JoJo, your favorite gold coach here, and I hope you're all doing well. So it's been a few days since the season dropped, and we got our 5 new heroes: Domina, Emre, Anran. I always want to call her Anya. I don't know why that is, but Anran, Mizuki, and a JetPack Cat. And normally in these situations, content creators do this kind of rat race to drop a video on the first day, give their first day impressions. They play like one game of every hero, and they're like, or they play like 1 or 2 games of the new hero, and they're like, yeah, here it is, here it is, here it is. But I did that in Dead by Daylight, and I hated doing that because almost always I would have to come back and make corrections because I would play something for a little bit longer and I would find things that I didn't find before, and it was just a big mess. And because I'm still small in the Overwatch space as opposed to the DBD space where my videos would regularly get thousands of views, I thought I would take my time this time, because by this point you guys have probably already watched CarQ vid or Emong or Frogger or whoever, right? Some of the bigger Overwatch creators. I don't know if Flats has dropped a video on these yet. I don't know if he's actually going to come back to Overwatch or if he's just doing it for the new season. But anyway, the point is that I wanted to take my time. So I've been playing the 5 new heroes over the past few days. I've got about the most of my games have been on Domina. I think I've played about 25 games on Domina. Emre and Anran both have about 10 games between them. I've played around 7 to 8 games of Mizuki, and I've played like 3 games of JetPack Cat because I only play ranked, and JetPack Cat is banned almost every single match, so it's very difficult to get a game on him. But let's go ahead and run down the list and where and how strong I think each hero is and what I think needs to change about them. So Domina, I think, is A tier. I'm not going to say she's the strongest tank in the game. I still think that Diva and Sigma are both very strong, but she is right up there with them. I do think that Domina is in the top 3, maybe top 5. I would say top 3. I would say right now your strongest tanks are going to be Diva, Sigma, Domina, and then Ram is probably fighting for 3rd place with Sigma. And that's only because her damage output is genuinely insane for a tank. She can do so much damage from so far away. This thing has, look at this range, bro. Look at this range. And then compare that to Sigma, who can barely hit that range. Barely hit that range. And it's a projectile. So Sigma can barely hit the same range as Domina, but hers is a hit scanned attack. So as long as you've got like fairly decent tracking, you can do a shitload of damage. Her crystal is really good because it goes past barriers. I am so happy they included the ability to detonate the crystal by reactivating the ability, or you can throw it at your feet. And it also doesn't damage you. This game has a lot of explosions that also damage the person using them. Spylo made a great point in one of his videos that we need to get rid of self-damage in Overwatch. I fully agree. I think the game has evolved past the need for self-damage with explosives and stuff like that. I know that's a Junkrat passive exclusively, but I don't know, maybe we can give Junkrat another passive, like when you start hearing voices, you instantly get a damage boost. I don't know. Her shove is great against squishies. It shoves them fairly far. It's honestly pretty good. When you shove a squishy, they go fucking flying. That's probably about 10 meters, give or take. They go absolutely flying. Can I try it on this bot and see how far they go? I can't get behind the bot. They go absolutely flying. It's genuinely kind of ridiculous how far they go. But there's a very certain weakness to Domina. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. Anyway, the shove into the wall is great. I do like the stun that comes from it. Now, with all this damage output, Domina gets very high damage and high kill games. My record on her right now is like 43-2, I think it was. on a push map, which is not one of Domina's strong points. So that brings me to Domina's weaknesses. First up on the agenda, Domina's shield is kind of bad. So because you can't break the whole shield, it's somewhat okay, but these panels are way bigger than you think they are. And the shield only lasts 8 seconds, right? So it's on a 14-second cooldown, and by the time it goes away, you still have 6 seconds before you can put up another shield. This makes Domina exceptionally vulnerable to being walked down. If the enemy tank is any of the stalwart heroes, JQ, Ram, Rhine, even Sig, and the enemy has a Lucio or Juno or Sithis Forbid both, you are going to be struggling so hard against the enemy team because they will just walk you down, and because of the stalwart passive, your shove can't give you any distance. And unlike Sigma, you can't reposition this shield easily. So my suggestion is one of two things. Either one, actually, I would say one of three things. Either one, the shield needs to do like Spylo said, have 2 charges, but be smaller. So you can still have both on a 14-second cooldown, but then you could like put a small one here. So like say, get rid of these, I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Get rid of the like just make it like these 4 panels or something. But you could put one here and then I'm getting dove, let me put one here or something like that. And she could create like a little cylinder around herself. 2, I would say you could lower the cooldown from 14 to, I don't know, 12 seconds. 12 seconds might not be too bad. You might even be able to get away with 8 seconds. I don't know. Maybe, sorry. Get away with 10 seconds, not 8 seconds. Might be able to get away with 10 seconds, but 12 seconds might be the sweet spot. Or 3, I would make the power move, the barrier array can be used as a wall to stun enemies. I would make that base kit. I would make her shield able to stun enemies base kit, because then she could, when she gets walked on, she could put down the shield, shove the stalwart heroes into the shield to stun them, and then get even more distance to allow herself to go backwards. I would make that base kit, and then I would probably give her a perk around extending the range of the crystal, or you could even have it extend the distance that people get shoved with her shift. That would even be pretty cool. Her ultimate, I forgot it instantly fires for a second. That's her ultimate builds really fast, like really fast. The problem is that it's also kind of very weak. Don't get me wrong, it can be powerful, but it requires way more follow-up from your team than I think most other tank ultimates, except I would say Grab is like the only other ultimate that requires a shitload of follow-up from your team. The way that, what is this thing called again? Panopticon. So Panopticon creates this barrier around everybody that it hits. It does a small instance of damage, and then when it explodes, and I had to read this, it does 300 to 100 damage based off of the barrier's health. So at max, it does 375 damage, which could instantly delete any squishy. But that little thing around them, this is a barrier. So if they're shooting from the inside, then they can deal damage to the barrier and weaken it and weaken the explosion. And what ends up happening a lot of times, which is very frustrating, is the enemy will do so much damage or even break the barrier. Like if you barrier a bastion, they can melt that. And it doesn't do as much as you think it's going to do. So what you need to do with the Panopticon is you need to either use it on low health enemies or use it on the entire team when your team is right behind you to follow up on the damage. So that when the explosion goes off and it's inevitably something like the 100 damage, your team is able to deal so much that it gets followed up on. So even though you build your ultimate fairly quickly, I wouldn't rely on this ultimate to get team wipes unless you have everybody behind you. Is my biggest thing for Domina. Domina is very strong on push and hybrid maps, anything with a choke, because she can spam this crystal down into it and deal a lot of disruptive damage that causes a lot of delay. Between her and Sigma, I think that Sigma is still the better tank simply because of his ability to self-sustain better. While both of them are susceptible to getting walked down on, I think Sigma has more tools to survive getting walked down on by Domina, but I think that it's a very close race between Domina and Sigma on who is stronger. So yeah, I like Domina. I like her design. I just think that her shield needs a little bit of a buff. At first I wanted her ultimate buffed, but like I said, I think it's more of a when do you use it rather than please give me a better ultimate type of deal. So yeah, next up we have Emre. I don't got much to say. I don't have much to say. I think I prefer Soldier over Emre, but I mean, he's honestly very well designed. He's very well designed. I really like the idea that the scope increases your fall off range. Does it increase your damage as well? Tightening accuracy. So it increases your accuracy and your fall off range, which is really, really cool. It brings it up to 45. Yeah, so it brings it up to 45 meters from 40 meters, which is, I mean, that's just fucking cool. That's just really, really fucking cool, I think. It gives him this ability to play at a more effective range than Soldier does. And the reason I like Soldier more, I may be nostalgia, maybe I just need to get used to Emre, play like a bunch more games with him, but Soldier I feel like can reposition better than Emre, because Imre's repositioning is on like a, what is the cooldown for this thing, like 14 or 10 seconds? 11 seconds. It's on an 11-second cooldown. But I will say that this sidearm, this pistol, is a way better tool than Soldier's Helix rockets, because it heals you when you hit the enemy. So flankers, I love Emre for protecting my backline. Because Emre's got this scope that allows him to fight at a longer distance, you put Emre in the back with like your Ana or your Zen, any of your supports that are really susceptible to getting dove, he can participate in the fight really well. So like you can put him like up here, you know, on a high ground. You've got your Ana and your Zen right there, and then, you know, oh, a tracer comes in, you whip out your side pistol, you start spamming the ground and fucking healing yourself and blowing the tracer to hell. It's really, really cool. Now his nade I think is pretty sick. I will say that a lot of times it feels like I'm tickling them with the nade. I don't know why that is. I don't know if I'm just bad with it, which is probably the thing, but his nade does kind of feel like it tickles a little bit sometimes, and it is easy to miss. But I did find out that the detonation only happens when it makes contact with something. So you can chuck the nade off into the great distance. It will not start its detonation until it contacts with the environment, not a player, the environment, which makes it very interesting to utilize. Now, my biggest issue with Emre is his ultimate. This ultimate is so dog shit. It is so crap. They need to do one of two things. Here's the thing, right? When you're in your ult, it is so easy to just blast the Emre out of the sky. It is so easy to just blast them out of the sky. I have seen more Emres get deleted during their ult in fucking gold than I see Pharahs get deleted during their ult. Emre is so easy to just blast down. Like, yeah, he flies 8 meters a second, which is cool and all, so he's fast, but he gets tracked very easily. And he doesn't have any kind of damage reduction during this ult. He doesn't have any kind of overhealth during this ult. So he gets blasted out of the sky a lot of times before he can do anything. But the other problem is that it doesn't do enough damage. I know these numbers look pretty insane, right? 45 on a direct hit, 175 on a direct hit, but the right click charges so ungodly slow, and it moves slow too. It moves very slow. When you're using this ultimate, it moves, look at how slow that projectile is. So you can actually dodge it, and then it takes like a long time before you're able to do it again. You can only get about 4 right clicks off. So then you think, oh, well, maybe I need to, left click a little bit more. But then like they're moving and you're often hitting the ground next to them as opposed to just hitting them. And it's, dude, it just doesn't do. I think genuinely, and some people might get pissed off at me, I genuinely think that Emre's ultimate might be one of the worst DPS ults in the game. It's not the worst DPS ult in the game. High Noon and fucking High Noon and Dragon still exists, right? Like, High Noon will forever be, I'm sorry, High Noon and Bastion's ultimate still exists. Dragon's pretty bad, but it's not as bad as High Noon and Bastion ult. So yeah, I think Emre's is like a bottom 5 DPS ult. I don't think you're going to be using it that often to get kills. I think it's going to be used more often as a threat tool. This very similar to how you use High Noon and Bastion ult, where you use it to clear the area of the enemy team because they don't want to die. They'll die if they stand still. They'll die if they stay in the area. So you use it to kind of like zone them somewhere else where you want them to be, make them back up from the point, make them, you use it to get a little bit more space on the payload, or if it's an overtime, it'll be great for contesting the payload. But I don't think that it's going to be one of those ultimates that you're able to use to confirm like a big team wipe. I just don't think so. They either need to make the right click happen faster, or they may need to make the left click deal more splash damage. Either one of those, not both at the same time, because that would be broken. And I think they would be good with that. Next up is Anran, babyface Asian fetish that the art team has aside. Hopefully they fix her face fairly soon. Anran, in my genuine opinion, is the most perfectly designed character on this list. I have almost no notes. I have legitimately almost no notes. I like her burn mechanic. I like that her burn mechanic works with other burn mechanics in the game. Something that I was really worried about when Mauga released was that they were going to release characters down the road that could light other characters on fire, and that Mauga would not be able to crit while those characters were on fire. It would have been specifically, as long as Mauga ignites them, he crits, right? I am so happy that they stuck with, if you're burning, these bonus effects happen. So Anran, unironically, does really good with Mauga. And also Ashe. You can have, it's a weird team composition. I'll grant you that. It's a weird team composition. But you can have Mauga, Ashe, and Anran, and the Ashe's dynamite will help fuel the Anran and the Mauga's critical abilities. So, I guess I should say what I'm talking about. When a enemy is on fire, Anran's fans crit. So that is insane. That is so cool, man. So you literally combined it with the other 2 fire starters. You combined it with your Mauga igniting people, and you combined it with your, where's she at? Your Ashe throwing dynamite at people, and Anran can just sit there and just crit people all day with fucking 10 ammo of this fucking fan. It's so freaking cool. Her dash having 2 charges was definitely the right choice. I really, really like the dash for repositioning. You can dash into their team. You can dash into the enemy team, past them to get a health pack. You can sit here and take like an off angle, right? Like your team is over there spamming main. You're over here taking main, or maybe getting rid of a backline Cassidy or support or something. And then like the enemy team's like, fuck, this Anran's a trouble. And then you just dash yourself back over here. You can even use both if you need to reposition. Very, very cool. I love her E. I love this little dodge while doing just a minimal amount of damage. It's really good. Her perk designs are great. I personally use Smolder. Oh, will it not let, okay. Well, all right, well, I guess I'll go to the F1 screen. I personally use Smolder, and then I also use Hungering Blaze, which heals 50 for each enemy hit by Dancing Blaze, which is your E. So they ignite for longer, they stay on fire longer, which increases your DPS by quite a bit, increases your uptime. But also, whenever you're able to heal, if you find yourself stuck in the enemy team, you press E really quickly, you heal up, you deal a little bit more damage, and then maybe you also have time to dash out of there if you're still in trouble. Her ultimate is really, really cool. Personally, I save the ultimate for the revive. I don't know if I've just been gone from this game for too long or if I'm missing something, but the ability to revive in this game is so fucking strong that Mercy's revive has been nerfed into the ground multiple times and it is still utilized. Like, you still pick Mercy for the revive. You can also pick Mercy for the blue beam, but a lot of people still pick Mercy for the revive because res is just such a strong ability, such a strong tool. Your opponents have to dump a lot more resources into the enemy in order to kill them nowadays, but the extensive healing and bigger health pools and stuff like that. So wasting your enemy's resources when they kill you just to turn around and revive yourself is actually pretty insane in my opinion. I hardly ever use the actual explosion that you do. I just think it's much better. You go in, you deal a bunch of damage, maybe you get a pick or two, they turn around, they kill you, you instantly pop back up, do this big explosion, do even more damage. Very rarely will I actually use this part of it. A very powerful part of the ultimate. Very, very powerful part of the ultimate, don't get me wrong. I just think that the revive is much stronger, and so I save her ultimate for the revive almost every time. I think that the only times I don't is in emergency situations, like if we're on King of the Hill and we need to take the point now. I'm not going to wait to die and then waste those 5 seconds reviving. I'm just going to instantly dive into the point, ignite all of the enemies, try to do what we can. But most of the time I save it for the revive. But overall, I think Anran's the best designed out of this entire crew, out of the entire 5 heroes. I would give her probably an A tier. I would give Emre a B tier. I forgot to tell you the tier for Emre. I'd give him a B tier. Anran, I definitely give an A tier. I'm going to talk about this little feline fucker last. So we're going to move on to Mizuki. Mizuki, in my opinion, is the weakest of the 5 heroes. And it's because, very simply, I don't think they knew what to do with Mizuki. I would call Mizuki a B tier because, I mean, honestly, okay, so let's start off with his aura, because I feel like that's his biggest issue. Mizuki only heals at a maximum of 20 per second in a 10-meter radius. This is fine for somebody like Lucio, who also has similar healing output. The problem is that 1, Lucio can amplify his healing. 2, Lucio can easily reposition his healing to allies who need it. And 3, Lucio has a shitload of mobility and the speed boost to help his allies even further. Mizuki has none of that. Mizuki will be healing 5 per second until you deal a bunch of damage. It took me 3 people worth of headshots to max the damage, and then it instantly starts decaying. Now, if you use your hat, it goes back up, but the hat also doesn't deal that much, or heal that much. It heals 90 on the first target, and then it goes down by 20 for each additional target, which is cool, right? Which is great. I'm not necessarily mad about that. And you have 2 charges. But I have a couple of issues. Number 1 is the range of the healing, right? It only has a 12-meter bounce range. That is pathetic. That is absolutely pathetic. This needs to be at least 25, maybe even 30 meters. I have on more than one occasion seen an enemy that's like right there, and I toss the hat, and it doesn't even bounce to these 2. Look at that, it doesn't even bounce to these 2. So I think that the hat needs way more priority on bouncing, And instead of being like this floating target that it has, I think that it needs to prioritize the lowest health ally in the, excluding yourself, the lowest health ally in like a 20-25 meter range, right? So you're fighting, you're throwing, you're like, one of your teammates is critical, you should be able to just like, I can't do it right now. I gotta look at my teammate, toss the hat, and then hope that it hits all of them. And it's not always going to, right? So I should be able to like, all right, I'm dealing damage, I'm dealing damage, I'm dealing damage. I look to out of the corner of my eye, I see a critical teammate. I hit right click. He instantly tosses the hat to them. It bounces between everybody in the range and then comes back. His E is really, really powerful. I like that it is a skill shot. I have seen a lot of Mizukis miss this E, but it is really good. I do like it. And I think that it needs no changes. I think that Doll should be 6, maybe 7 seconds before it decays. I think that 5 is too short. It doesn't give you enough time to get in and attack. His ultimate, pretty cool. I think the only change that I would make to the ultimate, because it is so short and it doesn't last long at all, it only lasts 6 seconds. I think that his ultimate, because it only lasts 6 seconds and it requires you to have like really good timing, and it also takes a shitload of a time to build, because look at the ult cost, it's 2,900. That's a lot that it needs to build up. I believe personally that the ultimate should also block projectiles from the inside. So right now it projects enemy projectiles coming from the outside. I think that when you pop it, it should protect allies from the inside as well. So like if an enemy just walks into your ult and starts firing, all of their stuff should be absorbed. I think that would be really cool, because it's 6 seconds and it makes it a much better defensive ult than it currently is, because right now enemies could just walk past it and kill your teammates, because the healing is honestly, it's 50 per second, which seems really good, but when you pop it and then the enemy Roadhog and Junkrat and Reaper just walk in there, that 50 per second means jack-a-diddly dog shit. Overall, I would also increase the range of his sights. 30 meters is it 30 meters? Yeah, 30 meters isn't far enough. I think it needs to be like 35, probably. Mizuki, the problem is that Mizuki just suffers from too many things that are wrong. His healing output isn't strong enough. His hat isn't consistent enough. His attack range is too short. His aura range, I would even say, is too short. His mobility doesn't last long enough to matter. He doesn't have the ability to climb walls, which I know is kind of a meme at this point, but the ability for him to be able to get to high ground would be absolutely phenomenal. He relies too much on his team being grouped up all the time, because he doesn't have the same mobility that, say, Lucio does, where Lucio can like go and help another teammate in a moment's notice. So you can only run Mizuki in like these really tight death ball brawl comps. He's only really good on King of the Hill, if I'm being completely honest with you, and even then, certain King of the Hill maps, like for example, Middle Shrine, I forget what it's called on Nepal, but the one where it's got like the 2 staircases that lead up to the point, and then it's got like the big pillar in the middle of the point. He's not even that great there. He's not even that great there, because very often when you're pushing that point, when you're going to attack it, teams split off to the left and right in order to try to pincer the point. So he's still not that great there. He's just, overall, I give Mizuki a C tier. He's just not very consistent. He needs a shitload of buffs to basically every part of his kit, if we're being honest. I just don't think he's that great. I just do not think Mizuki is that great, and it makes me really sad, because he does look like a cool character. Yeah. This stupid little cat is unironically the best hero in the game right now. Unironically, this stupid little cat is not memeing you. I'm not fucking with you. This is unironically the best hero in the game right now. This cat has everything, right? So yeah, the damage output ain't that great. Healing, not the best. But the ability to reposition your allies at a moment's notice is fucking insane. The ability to just go over a teammate and just pick them up and instantly, yeah, right, and then reposition them somewhere is insane. His melee boop combo is like also really strong. It's like it does like a shitload of damage. So he's a great it's a girl. She is incredibly a really good flanker. She's a really good flanker. She's able to just oh fuck, might help if I press every one of the buttons. She's a really good flanker. She's can reposition her fucking her E doesn't seem to do anything, but it's also self-healing. So she can hit her E while she's dueling you, get self-sustain. Her ultimate can just drag anybody off the map when you land it. That was actually horrible. I'm actually so bad at the video game. Her ultimate can just drag anybody off the map because most maps in the game have an edge, like a ledge that you could throw people off of. A lot of people don't know that because people don't play near those ledges, but almost every single map in the game has a ledge. Almost all of them. Even King's Row has a ledge on third point. You can literally go to third point and there's this small little hole on either side of the inner room, the room that around that curve, and you could drop people off in there. Like you, it's almost every map has a ledge where this ultimate can be used to drag somebody off the map. And it's very tilting, very frustrating. You can save your teammates by either killing the cat, sleeping the cat, life gripping the teammate. I think Suzu can also get the teammate out of the grip if you can like land a direct Suzu. I'm not sure, but I think that's the case. I think Orisa can golden out of it. Mei can't ice block out of it for some reason. I'm not sure why. So just this character is so fucking strong, and she gets even stronger with team coordination, right? So in the lower rank, she's really strong because nobody below Diamond knows how to look up and shoot the cat, right? But in the upper rank, she's really strong because people talk to each other more up there. And so you're able to communicate, hey, get me to high ground, and then go help our Ana, get our Ana to high ground with me. And then, okay, you guys are on high ground. That's great. I'm going to dive their Malga. I'm going to drag their Malga off. Or, hey, I'm going to, their Mercy is causing a lot of trouble. I'm going to dive the Mercy real quick. I'm going to bring the Mercy to you guys so that you can kill her easily. It's so fucking, and then JetPack Cat is a tactician, so they can save their ultimate for when they need it. Like it's genuinely so funny to me how they made this little meme character from 2017 into just one of the absolute strongest heroes in the game. Unironically, this cat is so strong, it's so powerful, and I just know it's gonna get nerfed, and that kind of makes me sad. I really hope the thing they nerf about it is, I would say probably move the cat to a different sub role first. I would say move the cat to medic. If cat is in survivor, they'd be too strong. I would say move the cat to medic first to get rid of being able to hold on to the stupid powerful ultimate. And then I would give lifeline. That's the shift where you can pick up allies. I would give that a timer. So like if you pick up an ally, you can't pick up the robots in the training range, unfortunately. But if you pick up an ally, I would say you can only carry them for like a max of like 10 seconds, or maybe even 8 seconds probably would be better. I think 10 seconds might even be too long. And also get rid of the boot melee combo that allows JetPack Cat to just be a very powerful flanker. I like the idea of this boop. It's or this melee. It's pretty cool. Get rid of the boop. Honestly, you could probably get rid of both these major perks and change them into something else. So I would do something like, for example, I would change headbutt to something like more resource on the fuel, and then I would change the territorial to something like faster projectile speed. Even might be, you know, pretty sick. I just think that both the major perks enable way too much 1v1 flanking type of deal. Because you could go either one. You can either do the headbutt melee type of deal while shooting, right? So you do like this, and then you do that, and then it deals like a shitload of damage to them. But you could also, if you wanted to, I gotta go back to the spawn room to change perks. But you can also do something like, melee and then the territorial. So you dive somebody, and then you do this, you press your E, so now you've got self-sustain, and you're doing damage to them while you're doing the self-sustain, and it's very, very annoying. And then, like, as soon as you're done that, you can fly over here, do some more dive. This is just a really super powerful character, hyper mobile, has a lot of utility, has a very powerful displacement ult. JetPack Cat is genuinely, just way too fucking strong, bro. Way too fucking strong, unironically. They need to nerf this character. I don't want to see her nerfed heavily. I just want to see like one thing change, one or two things changed to just bring her back a little bit, bring her from S tier to like A tier, because right now she's just way too strong. In general. Other than that, I really do think that the devs did an overall pretty decent job with each of the new 5 heroes. I'm very happy with most of them. And I think they did a great job on the DPS heroes specifically. Emre, I only wanted one thing change. Anran, I'm happy with everything with her. I think that the DPS heroes were probably the best well-designed. Domina's really great. She just needs something with her shield to change. Something about her shield needs to be buffed. JetPack Cat needs like 1 or 2 nerfs, nothing major. And then Mizuki just needs like buffs across the board. Like they need to just dump buffs into this man. But other than that, I also like the designs, the silhouettes. I just really have been enjoying playing all of these new characters. They've all been really great. So yeah, that concludes my opinions. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, a great big special thank you to my channel members listed on screen now for tossing me a couple extra bucks a month. If you want to find out how to support me and my content, then go ahead and click that join button down below, or check any of the links in the descriptions for other ways that you can support me. Other than that, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one.